Sausage.
Hello, and welcome to the last call, the show, the series, the series where I, Mark Kuznez, plays games that have been given a death sentence and are dying soon, or may already be dead by the time you see this, a la free-to-play games that have gotten the notice that their servers are going offline in the near or somewhat nearish distancy future. I really need to work on this intro. We're workshopping this one episode at a time, and just know that I'm recording all these episodes one after another. So while it may look like, they're wearing different things in all these episodes, I'm doing that on purpose because when I transitioned to an all-white T-shirt closet, I said, well, I'm gonna have to spice things up. I guess I'm gonna have to put on this sweatshirt and this button-up shirt and so on and so forth. And here we are talking about Realm Royale because that is the game of this year episode of The Last Call. This is another game from High Res Studios, which is funny that I'm saying that because I've yet to record the episode for DKO, aka Divine Knockout, which is the other one, but it doesn't really matter. You don't know the order. Now you know the order in which I'm recording at least those two episodes, but Realm Royale has been around for a while, and I thought it was more popular than I guess it is, because if it was, it would still be around. Hi-Rez is probably best known for putting out Smite, and then their other big hit, it's still going, so it's a hit enough, I guess, is Paladins, which I believe is somewhat of an Overwatch ripoff. And Smite is MOBA. But it feels, given my lack of experience in the genre, Smite being the only one I've ever played. I only played one or two matches of it. And I thought it was alright. But it did feel, based on what I know of stuff like League of Legends, it felt very controller friendly. It felt like they were at least taking something and saying, how can we make this accessible to a different audience? Whereas their other games felt like, here's a popular genre, here's a popular game. How can we maybe spice it up a little bit and just make profit off of that? Except with DKO, which you'll hear about in that episode when I record it. But Realm Royale is essentially fantasy Fortnite. And maybe they would have gotten sued if they just called it fantasy Fortnite, but maybe if they spelled it fantasy, the number 4, I can't spell NIGHT, or something stupid like that. But it is essentially fantasy Fortnite in that you play as one of a handful of classes. You have your mage, your warrior, your archer type. That is probably the rangers, probably what they call them. And a rogue-ish assassin, maybe. I think assassin's what they call them. And one other one. And they have unique abilities tied to them. And they can also all use some very basic standard weapons, but then they have unique weapons associated with them as well. For instance, mages are the only ones that can use staffs. And rangers are the only ones that can use crossbows and bows and arrows. And then the warrior class can use swords and so on. And the one really unique element of the game that I remember when it launched, standing it out or helping it stand out, was the fact that when you die, instead of like in Call of Duty, for instance, Warzone, you get sent to the Gulag pronunciation. Or I don't know what happens in Fortnite. I don't know if anything happens. I know, and in all the games you can be brought back, but the unique element of Realm Royale is that when you are killed, you turn into a chicken. And you can change this with various skins. There were a handful of them in the store as the game is dying. One of the nice things, too, is that they put all the items in the store, or the majority. Some were still at their regular price. The majority of items in the store were all set to one in-game currency buck, which I would assume is somewhere along the lines of the equivalent of a penny. And you can earn a lot because they give you the battle pass with the 20 additional or first levels for free. So they at least did well in terms of just giving people what extra content is there as the game is enjoying it. It's sunsetting, it's dying. So I appreciate that. But you turn into a chicken, and then if you can survive for, I think it's about somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds, you come back to life as your original self with all your weapons and items intact, I believe, and can continue playing. If you die, you die, and you start over, or you can spectate. It's a unique twist on the Battle Royale space, but that's about all it has going for it. You also have a mount that you can call upon at any time, which is kind of cool. But outside of that, it doesn't feel that unique. And there's no building in it, of course. That's for Fortnite. But I think one of the worst things about it that makes it not stand out as much is that it looks a lot like Fortnite. It doesn't quite have that same stylized look, but in terms of the color palette and the degree of vibrancy, if you were not super familiar with Fortnite, if you weren't a regular Fortnite player and you just saw it here and there in streams or something along those lines, it would not be hard or surprising for you to think that Realm Royale is Fortnite. And that's probably what they're going for, because they're trying to just get a slice of that Fortnite pie. The gunplay feels okay, and the loop is all right. I appreciate other things too, because one of the things I don't like about Fortnite is how babyish it is, how user friendly it is, which I know goes against my typical stance of accessibility, but I think it's a little bit too far in Fortnite, and how you can always see, and maybe there's a way to turn this off. Maybe there's a hardcore mode I don't know about. But I don't like the fact that in Fortnite, you can see a visual indicator of footsteps when they're getting close to you. You can see and hear, well, I mean, you can hear, but you'll get a visual indicator of where bullets and explosions are taking place if you're close enough. And it makes it so that it's very easy to hear if someone's potentially sneaking up on you. Maybe your audio's not loud enough, you want to hear it otherwise, but you can see it. And it makes it very easy to find battles that you can third party, and it becomes very, very frustrating. Also, it may be the same in Realm Royale, but I hate that Fortnite feels like it's comprised of 75% bots and 25% real people, so that the early game is just this incredibly boring, not challenging experience where all the real people get to feel like they're doing something, taking down a few bots along the way, and then the real game doesn't start until you get down to those last 20, 15 or so people where it's just you and other real humans. I get it. You want to make everyone feel like they're doing something. You want everyone to feel like they've accomplished at least something in a match. They may never win, but they'll always get a few kills, because bots. I don't like that, so I like that about Realm Royale. But ultimately, Realm Royale, just in spite of being well made and having some unique elements to it, it just didn't do enough. And especially in the Battle Royale genre, which is so... It's not even that... It is crowded, but the bigger problem is that people have their game, potentially 2 games, and they just stick to those. And you already have such huge heavy hitters, even when this game originally came out. I believe we already had Apex. We definitely had Fortnite. Warzone. Warzone may have just started, but we at least had, what was it in Battle Black Ops 4? I forget the name of it, but we had at least some kind of Call of Duty Battle Royale, if not Warzone already. And then you also have PUBG, which is still doing well. So to come into this incredibly crowded genre with, here, you can turn into a chicken, it's fantasy themed, and you got mounts that you can ride around on. It's a fun thing to play for that opening week or so. It was a solid game because I played it around when it came out too. I believe, I remember at least. It may not have been exactly when it came out, but I remember playing it and thinking, this isn't that bad. This is pretty nice. I like it more than Fortnite because, disregarding any thoughts about, because I don't even remember if that was in Fortnite at the time, the indicators for gunfights and so on. I just never jived with the building mechanic of Fortnite. So Fortnite was never the Battle Royale I enjoyed. It was my least favorite and still is my least favorite. The only thing that Fortnite has going for it is all of the partnerships so that I can play as Donatello, and as someone who has Donatello tattooed on my skin, that does quite a bit at the very least. But yeah, it's a game that may be remembered, but probably won't. People may just remember or think about, hey, what was that a Battle Royale game where you could turn into a chicken? Huh? What was it? Realm Royale? Yeah, that was kind of cool, right? Yeah. All right, let's go play more Fortnite. I feel like that is what you can expect for the legacy of Realm Royale. It's just, hey, remember that game you could play as a chicken in? And I even confuse it with Cuisine Royale, which I think turned into something else. And I don't even know what the unique element of that was. You use kitchen stuff. That one looked, all I know about Cuisine Royale is that it had a very PUBG aesthetic look to it. But Realm Royale, yeah, not really much else to say about it. It's, again, I mean, I could have just done this video and said, hey, Realm Royale, it was okay. It's basically fantasy Fortnite. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. And that's basically what we did here. So that'll do it for this here episode of The Last Call. Once again, I am Mark Kuznets. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, the occasional Watts Party, a private Discord channel along with some fancy schmancy Discord roles, and the occasional drop on the Patreon here or there depending on your tier. Or you can just support me to support me if that is your fancy. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, the Twitch, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. That is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye. Bye. Yeah.
It's go time.